Welcome back to Personal Best Radio. I am Dr. Grow, and my guest today is Dr. Harville Hendrix, author of the book Getting the Love You Want.
Dr. Hendrix, before we went into the station break, we were talking just a little bit about the similarities, if even at the not conscious level, between the spouse we might choose and the caretakers we had. Could you explore that just a little bit more for us?
Well, yes. The basic experience of romantic love always indicates that the person that you're drawn to will have similarities to your caretakers, and that they will always have negative traits and behaviors that your caretakers have, and those negative traits in childhood in the caretakers is what left you with needs not met. That is, the traits are negative because they were not need-meeting. They were, in some sense, hurtful. They were either intrusive or they were neglectful. So when you move across a crowded room, the unconscious mind is going towards someone to connect with from whom they believe they will get what they didn't get in childhood with their caretakers. And so that's what triggers the romantic love. It's the anticipation of the satisfaction of archaic needs. And so what's going to happen is that the illusion that this is the person of my dreams is going to be shattered either quickly, sometimes it's shattered in the first few minutes, and I think the studies on romantic love is that the duration of romantic love for most people, for the long duration of romantic love is only about 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So it's either over quickly or it lasts for about 3 years. It will give way to what we call the power struggle. And the power struggle happens when the illusion isn't supported, that I'm going to get my needs met here. Both people have the same illusion. I'm going to get my needs met from you. I'm going to get my needs met from you. Neither one gets it. So then you begin to complain. You begin to criticize. You begin to say, where were you? Why don't you talk to me? You don't call me. We never make love.
Uh-huh.
You're always. And there will always be one person who is more what we would say intrusive and demanding, and another person who is more neglectful and withdrawing. This happens in every relationship. So if you're married to an intrusive person, you more than likely had an intrusive parent who was a problem for you. And in the actual case is, most of us have had an intrusive and a neglectful parent, and so when we get married, we have a partner who on the one hand will be intrusive and on the other hand neglectful. So we can be frustrated either way. That's what's going to trigger the power struggle. Okay. And this is what ultimately leads to our earlier conversation about divorce. When people don't know what's going on, they can't solve it because it's all at the level of the unconscious. And afterwards, after a while, they give up, or they go into parallel marriages, or they go to therapy, or 50% of them get a divorce.
Right. Now, fortunately, we have resources like you and your book. Now, of course, the title is Getting the Love You Want, which provides an outline or program, if you will, for achieving the goal of, well, getting what you want. Can you briefly explain the program to our listeners?
Basically, the therapy process of imago relationship therapy is a process that is based on one major, what we would call in therapy, one major therapeutic tool or intervention called dialogue. A dialogue is helping couples learn a new way to talk. New way to talk that's different from what we call the old way of talking, which is parallel monologue.
Right.
Both people talking and nobody listening.
Exactly.
So dialogue puts both people on the same playing field, makes them equal. It's a structured way of talking, has 3 parts to it: mirroring, which you listen carefully to your partner and say back what you're hearing; validating, in which you actually see that your partner makes sense. Most people don't think their partners make sense, so they say, that's crazy.
Right.
Why would you say anything like that? Well, everybody makes sense, and so you have to get over it. Your partner does make sense. It's just not the sense that you make. And then empathy, which is being able to experience the feelings your partner has. So you learn how to talk in a structured way, and what that does is create safety in the relationship. When I know you're going to listen, or when I listen, you know that I'm not going to attack you or react to you. I'm going to listen and mirror it back, see see your point of view and express empathy for it, then that creates safety, and safety then creates connection. And what we found once we got to what happens when people feel safe is that they connect, and then their troubles drop away, and like all the complaints begin to go away, because what we learned by watching that over the past 30 years is that connection is what everybody wants, a stable, reliable connection.
Yes.
You can't be connected unless you feel emotionally safe. If you feel emotionally safe, you will experience connection, and when you feel connected, you will experience passion. Passion not only sexually, but passionate aliveness with each other. Life will be fun. Life will be joyful. You'll love to run and play together, and you'll once you get over scaring each other and making each other feel unsafe in each other's presence. So what imagotherapy does is use this tool of learning how to have a conversation, and having a conversation actually transforms the mind. And because when you get safe enough, you actually are getting what you didn't get in childhood. You are getting the love you wanted, and all the issues that were left unresolved with your caretakers are resolved with your partner.
Thank you. Now, that's actually the next question I had. You point out 10 characteristics of a conscious marriage. Would it be possible to just briefly outline these, or at least highlight some of what you think might be the most important of the 10 characteristics?
One is, in a conscious marriage, you know that you have a responsibility to the relationship rather than to yourself. And you make the relationship the most important thing, because you know that if you care for the relationship, then your needs will be cared for. It's sort of like a garden. You have a garden. If you go out and plant it and take care of it, it's going to feed you.
Sure.
But if you stand outside the garden and yell at it, you're probably not going to get any tomatoes.
Right. Not much help there.
Not much help there. So essentially, it's taking responsibility for the relationship. In a conscious marriage, you also learn this skill. You learn how to talk, and you use the dialogical process. And you use this all the time until you become dialogical. A conscious marriage also doesn't have any negativity in it. Conscious couples do not hurt each other with words. There is no shame, blame, criticism. There are no put-downs, and no kind of emotional or physical abuse. Most people feel they can't give up negativity, not knowing that negativity is an addiction.
Right. So I'm guessing you're thinking that sarcasm simply has no place in a marriage. They think, well, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We all know you weren't.
Exactly. People say what they feel at some level.
No. So there's no negativity whatsoever. And I think the other that I'm just listing here is sort of a summary of the 10 into maybe 4. That the other piece is that in a conscious marriage, you always are on your partner's side.
Right.
In the sense that, especially in their relations to others and to the world, and you also see your partner's side in relation to you, and see that your partner is a person, is a human being. One of the phrases we use, it's not in the book Getting, but it's in our later in a later book we're writing now, is you have to get it. Your partner is not you. Your partner is not similar to you, like you, will never be like you, does not have the same thoughts, feelings, actions, bone structure, cellular, whatever. Your partner is not you.
Right.
And your wish that they not be themselves and be like you is a pathological wish. So give it up. Accept your partner as your partner is. And when you accept them, then you need to advocate your partner. Acceptance is one thing, but advocacy is another thing. And advocacy means, I advocate your being you, all of the you that you can be.
Right.
And your dreams and your hopes and everything about you, I advocate. I'm on your side. I'm your partner. I'm your advocate. I'm the one who's in the cheerleading section. And once you move into that consciousness and realize that this is another human being, and to criticize them is trying to ask them not to be who they are and to be more like what you want them to be, but you move into the other side and surrender all of that, you then move into a relationship that is beyond dreaming, because it's safe and passionate and happy and wonderful all the time. And I think those are the 4 things: learn how to talk, do a new dialogical process, keep the relationship safe, remove all negativity, and amplify all of the things about your partner that are positive.
Thank you. So you're on their side regardless.
Regardless.
Yes.
I'm your advocate. I'm on your side. And if that means that that you're having an issue with me, I'm on the side of seeing your point of view and seeing that it makes sense.
I see.
Instead of just saying, you got to be crazy. I don't do stuff like that.
Right.
I have to really get it. That's your experience. And I have to honor, respect, and acknowledge that and then deal with it.
Thank you. Regardless of where a couple is at, how close they might be or how distant in their relationship, is there one or two items of advice that you would give them that might work for any relationship?
Well, I think that couples who are in real difficulty, the major advice would be hie thee to a therapist.
Right.
Or get into a couples workshop, or go to some place where the two of you can get some information and skills at the same time, in the same place, so that you start on level playing field with regard to what you need to do with your relationship. And the reason I would say that is that couples who really need help often cannot use advice.
Uh-huh.
They would read Getting, and they would see that it might make sense, but they can't really use it because they're in too much difficulty. They're in too much pain. They need somebody to hold them while they work with their relationship. For couples who are doing pretty well, they can actually read a book and say, oh, let's try this.
Right.
And they'll try it, and it'll make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, the one thing that Helen and I now say, bottom line is, if you really want to move your relationship along fast, you have to really bite the bullet and surrender all negativity, all shame, blame, criticism, and put-downs. Just surrender that. And if possible, do it cold turkey, like today.
It did take a little bit of time to get you in this interview, and again, I just really appreciate the time you took from your busy schedule to be with us this day.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure, Aaron.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, and bye.